Gallon versus Geechee Gotti. Also, the Kid Clutch goes head to head with Dre Vicious. Find out and see who gets on top, because your vote, it counts.
Yo, what's good, y'all? It's Direct here with Rap Grid, and this is my recap of World Dom 7. First of all, this is like the most bootlegged event in battle history. Salute to the Russians, you know what I mean? Salute to Oxy, man. Like, you can't even log on without seeing 99 Russian bloggers like talking through the video and doing their little Twitch game show thing through the shit. So it seemed like on an international level, this was a great look for KOTD. It was creative. And I think battle rap needs more moments like this. Because you basically have you have all the regular matchups, all the regular MCs, and then every once in a while someone will pay mad money for somebody with a name or somebody kind of famous to get on. But I feel like this is the creative look that battle rap needs, where you have somebody like Oxy, who's actually a battle rapper, can actually, you know, transcend the barrier, leap over that boundary. He went to Oxford. He could speak English, you know what I mean? And just the buzz behind it and the unique feel it brought to battle rap, I think was great. So, but before I get into that, before I talk about all kind of other shit, anyway, first of all, R.I.P. Sean P. You can kind of see the bottom of his head behind me. But let's get into some of these day one battles. I got a couple quick notes. You know what I'm saying? You guys know I always got notes. I always remember a couple bars. I want to get into that. My first point is that Frack vs. Bricks might have been the best battle of the entire whole first day. And it was probably top 3 battle from the entire World Dom. A lot of people who only tuned in to day 2 might not have seen it. But the battle was fire. I think Brick stepped his performance up. I think he stepped his creativity up to be able to battle an MC like Frack, and Frack was on the top of his game. Frack has had battles where he smoked people and battles where he kind of got smoked, but he never really had a battle that was just like a classic, a good look, and I think it's dope for both of them. I think both of them will get bigger matchups on King of the Dot, so I definitely want to see what kind of doors that battle right there opens up. And just a quick note, man, Frack had this bar where he said everybody in the jungle used to share Khan's bars. That's gonna be a reoccurring theme throughout this video today, right? I'm gonna be doing the face and voice to some of these bars, man, because this battle had at least 5 of the best. This battle event at least had 5 of the best bars of the year in it. Yo, some of these bars are gonna make you flip your noodle. I'm not gonna ruin the battles for those who haven't seen it yet, but it's just the lyrics were so potent last night. Then you have Cali Boy Smooth versus Mosh is another battle I want to talk about. Cali Boy Smooth was dope. He was aggressive. He was on point. And I think what he did was a good look for the street side of battle rap, being from LA. Mosh is confusing to me, and this is why. Throughout the first half of the battle, I was like, maybe Mosh doesn't belong in this era anymore. And if y'all ain't familiar with Mosh, he was like one of the first people to get big off of Grind Time. Him and Johnny Storm was the first battle on Grind Time with like a 50,000 views or something like that. And it was one of the first ones on World Star and went to allhiphop.com and opened doors for what Grind Time was doing. So Mosh was that dude when Grind Time started. And the West Coast sparked a feud with him because he was using multis. They said he stole Thesaurus' style, and from there he went to the West Coast, blah blah blah, and it's all in the fucking chapters of the history books, right? So Mosh is finally making a return, and he's kind of on some freestyle shit, on some old multi-syllabic type shit. And first half I was like, yo, maybe Mosh should have hung it up in the last era. Second half, people like him, man. They're engaged with him. They like his freestyles. They think he's funny. But I think Mosh needs to write a little bit more. I think he needs another GZ battle. And I think the matchup was kind of awkward. They should have gave Mosh somebody else. Maybe Mosh and Robo or something like that. And gave Cali Smooth somebody else. Like, even if they could have did Cali and Eddie I, or just something else. I just thought it was the wrong matchup. I have Cali Smooth 3-0 and a convincing win, but it was like they were both like they both prepared for a different type of opponent. So I don't think it was the best matchup, but Cali Smooth got that one. And salute to the X-Men theme. That shit was fire. The first round, Cali Smooth's first round, crazy. Now let's talk about Reverse Live and Dunsh also, which was the main event of the first day of World Dom 7. Reverse Live is one of those people who, like, you guys got to remember, when the new era of battle started, him and Dizaster were like this. It was the point where they were both loud and commanded all the energy in the room. And it was a point where they had to battle each other to see, like, who was going to be that rookie that stepped up. And, you know, obviously Dizaster kind of stepped up and outshone him career-wise. But I always check for Reverse Live's battles because he never does bad. And he's one of those dope rappers from that era that I really appreciate. I think he got Dunsh. Maybe a 2-1. You know, in the beginning it looks like Dunsh was gonna win, but Reverse Live was crazy. Dunsh had a bar. I start with a bullet in reverse, like Nas track. Rewind, that was crazy. Making noises with your head blue like Skeeter Valentine. There was just a lot of dope bars in this battle, but I thought Reverse got it. I'm sorry if you thought Dunsh won. Respect to you. I can understand that argument. You can get on here and argue with me in the comments, but I got Reverse Live winning that battle. Now we're gonna talk about the second day, Eddie I versus Saint, which was the first joint. I never saw an Eddie I battle before. I know y'all think I watch every single battle, but I just watched most of them. But Eddie I was fire, yo. Potent lyrically, yo. In his first round, he had a photosynthesis bar where he was saying, like, all your shit light and they eat it up. That was crazy. Shout out to 5th grade science class where I learned that shit. And Saint had a line in that joint where he said his name E.I. I cut his face like Nelly. What? That's one of my favorite bars of the event. His name E.I. I cut his face. The Nelly band, Saint Lunatic, yo, it was crazy. Now the one problem with that battle was that, I mean, Eddie I had a small slip in the third. It was real small. He recovered fast. And Saint's third round, he was kind of messing up. He had like a choke. He kind of came back from it, but he had the choke probably when he had like 8 to 10 bars left in his round. And here's the thing I want to say about it. Let's talk about star power for a second. With some of the newer MCs or some of the younger cats, you can kind of tell, like, the crowd reacts more when somebody either has a crazy personality or they're just on another level and it's something you can sense. And I think Eddie I was dope lyrically. He was crazy. But I think Saint has this, like, innate ability to get people to really like him and fuck with the shit based off the fact that you can see the talent oozing out of him. And it might be a situation where Eddie I won because of that choke in the third, because that was crunch time. But Saint won also because everybody understood where his talent was at. You know what I mean? So it wasn't a loss. I wish that didn't happen. I saw a lot of people saying they thought Saint won 2-1. But I think Saint got the first convincingly. I think if you really pay attention and you really study lyrics, I give that second round to Eddie I. You know what I mean? In that third round, I would have to give to Eddie I because of the stumble. So I guess I got Eddie I 2-1 in that. But it like I said, it's a situation where I think going forward, Saint might be the biggest star out of the two because you can just see the star power oozing out of him. But yeah, great battle, great opening battle. Whoever made that matchup, salute to y'all, and whoever thought to bring Eddie I, and I think he's cool with Dunsh, but whoever thought to bring Eddie I onto King of the Dots platform, Great look, great idea. Y'all did it with that shit. Let's talk about Top R, Top R. The shit is capitalized. Topper versus Megadeth. To be honest, I didn't really like the battle. I think Topper set the bar mad high with his battle versus the Source. That was arguably his best battle that he's ever done. And Megadeth set the bar really high with his first round, which was really, really good, really potent lyrically. But then it was kind of weird. Top R was getting mad aggressive. He was like pushing Megadeth. He was talking about flashbacks from the army and all kind of shit. And I just think, I can't even say it was a bad matchup because going into it, I thought it made a lot of sense. But I don't think it looked good on cam. I don't think it was the best battle. But it was like it wasn't terrible, but it was just like, man, you know what I mean? It was a small blemish on a great night. So, Peanut and A-Ward. Yo. That's honestly, if you take star power away and you get rid of favoritism, that might be battle of the night. I've been saying it for years. Peanut has been one of my favorite battlers. I know after the whole situation with him and Nestle, he might have lost his spot. You know what I mean? I thought he definitely should be considered for the chain. And I think he's a great type of MC that kind of has a skill set that will allow him to cross over. But A-Ward, I'm just going to go ahead and say this. I think I have A-Ward 3-0. And it's not a 3-0 body. It's like a Av versus Mike P type battle where Peanut was great. He was excellent. He was clicking on all cylinders. But I think this is A-Ward's best performance. I think this is like 2 notches above what he did with Real Deal. And I honestly think after this performance, you have to give A-Ward a title shot. I don't think there's any way around it right now. A-Ward deserves a title shot. He was fire. And to be completely honest with y'all, if I just base it off of his last performance or everybody on King of the Dot's last performance, A-Ward is honestly looking like one of the top 5 artists on King of the Dot. Sorry, I don't know, but just, I'm not saying overall, but just based off that last performance, A-Ward is top 5 on King of the Dot. Like, what he did against Peanut was crazy. What Peanut did was crazy, too. I don't want to take nothing away because his shit was fire, but that's like yet another career-defining performance by A-Ward. So, salute to both of them. And, A-Ward, man, he had some fire struggle bars that I chest would hear and be like, But, he had the, I get better in the hood, like Mellow and Lux. Son, that was like, that is arguably my favorite bar of the whole joint. Like, I forget what the setup bar was, but I get better in the hood like Mellow and Lux. I just like the way he spit it. I like the way it rhymed. I like the timing he had on it, the delivery he had on it. A-Ward, if you're hearing this, that bar was fire. Keep writing Mellow and Lux bars because I went crazy when you said that. All right, now. Pass and Big K. Going into this battle, a lot of people believe that Pass couldn't win because he doesn't have a high punch rate. He relies on rapping good, excellent delivery, and just he'll have like a bomb like once per round, every round and a half, where it's just a nicely delivered and it's built up, and then it's just bam. You know what I mean? Like if you hollowed and I'm solid as a rock, like shit like that. That's Pass's shit. Now, if I'm gonna break this battle down, I thought Pass first round was really good. Then Big K came. His first round was good. Higher punch rate. So in battle rap, it's like when whoever has a higher punch rate or whoever can fit more dope potent lines in due to the way they rap, they often have the edge. I think a lot of people will say Big K won the first round. I might be leaning towards that. But honestly, if I were to watch it again or when it comes out and really study it on tape and break it down, Passwords might have a fight in that argument. Second round, Pass was good. I think I think Pass's first was better than his second. Big K, kind of rised up. He started snapping a little bit more. So I give that round to Big K. Third round. Big K was dope. But Pass had one of the rounds of the night. If Oxy wasn't on the card, Pass might have clinched round of the night with that. A-Ward's second, which was fire, and Pass's third, yo. Pass had a line where he was like playing the race card with Big K a little bit. He was calling him Big K, and it was working. That angle was working. That angle doesn't always work, but the way Pass was rapping it, it was working that night. And he said something about KKK, hit you with that K. KK, like okay, like the delivery on that, out of here. One of the most quoted bars of the night. Go to twitter.com/rapgrid if you want to see who won in the polls and what the most quoted bars were from every battle. Crazy. Okay, KK. Another one of my favorite bars. The crowd went into an uproar. Fire. There was no Big K didn't kick on that one neither. And shout out to Big K with the snapping is not unusual like Carlton Banks. Oh my God. I like that. Creative Carlton bar. Illmac and Iron Solomon, right? Now, I was on Twitter telling people the history of this battle for those that don't know it or whatever, but basically, some people might deny this, some people might not, but I'm gonna tell y'all the real, right? So when Iron Solomon battled at Scribble Jam and he was killing and he battled Pass and he battled Justice and all that, and then we just spin the mic and battled with the Source. See, Iron Solomon was already from New York, so he had like an in to that street battle crowd. So mix that, what he did with Scribble Jam and with the Source at Spin the Mic. If you mix that with his Underground Sessions battles against Shirt and Tie and Madness and all that, like that was all the footage he needed to convince everybody that he should cross over. So what he was doing was mixing pre-writtens with crazy freestyles, and he was a little bit ahead of the bar. Now, when he battled the Source and the Scribble and all that and jumped ahead of everybody, I feel like a lot of the MCs like the Source, Illmaculate, and whoever else was putting in work back then, specifically from the West Coast, felt like Iron had kind of like cut them in line to be able to cross over. But he was able to do that just because he was smart and he just strategized a lot more instead of just freestyling all the time back then, right? So you have somebody like Illmaculate where he doesn't have a corny voice, he doesn't have a nasally pitch or nothing like that. And people see him, even though he got Native American and all that in his blood, but people see him as that short white dude, you know what I mean, that's nice lyrically, you know what I mean? I think, and he didn't tell me this, but I just feel like from that era, a piece of him like felt like there was a target on Iron's back because he took that spot that Illmac could have crossed over and did the Fight Clubs if he had well-timed stuff. So I just think like, for a lot of people that put a target on Iron's back and he skipped the whole jump off generation, even though he's supposed to do it with Madness, but that's some other shit that I know about. But a lot of people were gunning for him, and even when Iron came back on Grind Time with Ines, it was like a big thing. So Illmac, just for years, man, I knew Illmac really wanted to battle Iron. And I might have had an old interview, or maybe I can dig it up or something like that, like before all this era and shit, where like it was clearly a thing with Illmac versus Iron, but I knew Iron probably felt like Illmac got to get his weight up if he even want to go about trying to battle me. So with that being said, I knew even if the rappers didn't want to admit it, I knew that there would be like some type of personal fire in this battle. So when Solomon went first and he was kind of like on Illmac's face and Illmac was like, don't touch me, and like slapped his hand down and shit like that, I felt like it was intense because that was the feeling. So just, if you didn't understand, that's the background. To me, that was the feeling, right? So Iron goes first and it's solid, it's good. He actually had a really good first round. Illmac's first goes. He takes all the air like out of Iron shit with a rebuttal. Because Iron spit some shit in Russian. The crowd went crazy. Illmac rebutted. You spitting shit in Russian. Oh, you trying to play the Trump card. People went crazy. From that moment on, Illmac went banoodles, yo. He had this joint where he was comparing, like, yo, when before you retired, you look like this. When you came back, you look like this. And he had some shit like, he like, yo, when, like, before you retired, you look like Randy Johnson throwing fast ones over the plate. But when you came back, you look like Kenny Powers, fat and out of shape. And then, yo, now I'm gonna be real with y'all. I named a couple bars that was maybe my favorite of the event. But this one, now that I think about it, it might be my actual favorite. And it's a contender for bar of the event. And this is definitely one of the bars of the year. And one of the best punchlines of Illmaculate's career. When he told Iron, you left looking like Jordan with his tongue out. You came back looking like Jordan in the dugout. Ooh. See, I'm next to a wall, but I would have spun the chair around. And, yo, left looking like Jordan with his tongue out. Came back looking like Jordan in the dugout. When Illmac spit that bar, he might have won the battle right there. Even though I know it's the first round, but just the tone he set sucked all the wind out of Iron's sails, and it was just like, damn, Illmac, that's the shit you coming with? Like, Illmac, if you watching this, yo, that was fire, son. Left looking like Jordan, came back looking like Jordan. But anyway, so Iron second goes, it wasn't as good as his first. His first was really, really fire. Illmac goes, dope. I think the feeling was Illmac is winning 2-0. The battle's over, but the battle's really good. Some people had it as battle of the night at that point. Third round. Illmac goes and he's dope. I mean, Iron Solomon goes. Yeah, he's dope. He was actually turning up in the third round. Illmac goes and he was dope. You know what I mean? And I think, honestly, some people might have an argument that Iron Solomon won the third round. Some people might. I think if you're going to give Iron a round, you give him the third. Some people might even say he won the second. But what Illmac did in the first round, it was a first round knockout, yo. He fucked Iron up in the first round and had the bar way up here. And Solomon was fighting to get that back for mad long. So if you can understand what I'm saying, Illmac won. That first round is one of the best rounds of Illmac's career. So I skipped over B-Dot and Verb, so we're going to get into that right now. Before I even say this, 62% of people on the Rap Grid polls on Twitter after it was over, check it out, twitter.com/rapgrid, had a Verb winning, right? So, very, very, very good battle. As intense as you thought it would be. I think Verb went first. His first round was good. Good, no stumbles, no nothing. You could show he wasn't playing. And this is what I said to begin that first round. Verb is dope. Verb showed up, and Verb is spitting personals. You could tell he actually wrote for B-Dot, and he cares about this one. This one means something to him, right? So I said at that point, even though I thought B-Dot could snatch the first round, I said, there's going to be a lot of Verb fans popping up, even if B-Dot smokes him, saying, Verb won this round just because he came prepared. So that's just a mental note I took to look out for. B-Dot goes first round. I feel like, personally, he got that one by a fair margin. He was out there smoking boots off in that first round. B-Dot wasn't playing. I'm like, I hope the whole battle isn't like this, because people are going to be like, oh, Verb tried and B-Dot still smoked him. That's not, I wouldn't want to see that on Verb's legacy. Second round, Verb turns up. No showtimes in every round, no nothing. Just goes crazy. So Verb said, everybody want to be Huey Newtons and Napoleons till there's a hole in them. Yo, that part right there set the tone for what Verb was doing. That shit is crazy. Crazy. And that, like, I feel like that whole vibe and whole just fuck you, I'm coming with raw shit angle is took Verb to the next level, right? So the Verb got the second round. He got it. You know, like B Dot, he was dope, but Verb's second round was like that old SB Verb. People were screaming, Verb is back. Third round, Verb's cooking, just like in the second round. Just like second round, I might have liked it a little better, but Verb was spazzing. You know what I'm saying? You need oven mitts and all this shit he was saying. And B Dot's angle in the third round was like, you were raised, like, there's a thing about like Verb's mom being a lesbian. It's a recurrent thing. If you watch battle rap, you know what I'm talking about. And B Dot's whole thing was like, yo, you was raised by a single mother, and this is the effect it will have on a black child. And he took that angle. Now, here's the thing. If you like B Dot's angle and you felt like B Dot was saying more potent shit, you're going to say B Dot won. Hands down, man down, right? But if you like Verb shit and you want some shit like, yo, the old Verb is back, he's ignoring that shit and he's just coming straight venomous fire shit. And his third round, he did the Showtime and it worked and it was impeccable. You like, nah, fuck that. Verb won. Now, me, my personal opinion, it's not because I didn't like B Dot's angle in the third round, but I thought Verb was really just snapping in that third. I might have to give it to Verb 2-1. Now, on another watch, I might feel a little bit differently. But Verb, from the second round on, he snapped. And his first round was good too, but B Dot was crazy. Now, another thing I didn't mention, one of the most quoted bars of the event was when B Dot said his shit to Dizaster, and he said, catching a bullet from a black man is the only time you get a nigga pass. That shit hit and resounded all over the room and all over the internet. That shit was fire. So if you, even though it wasn't directed at Verb, a lot of people just loved B Dot second and gave him that. I might say Verb second and third. Let me know what y'all think. I'm gonna have to watch it again and really dissect the lyrics in that, because them two was spitting some shit. Now, Dizaster and Oxymoron. Not moron, Miron. Two different things. First round, Dizaster goes first. He talking shit about Russians still not getting on the moon. The shit, he spit a crazy, no, not a crazy, I'll take that back. But he spit a really good first round. But it's also like a test in the water. Now, if Oxy went and he wasn't that good, Dizaster would have just smoked him from there on out. But I feel like Dizaster, he turned up, he said his shit. And what made the battle really good was Dizaster was like, yo, I'm not gonna go over time and act crazy and act blah, blah, blah. So it's like Dizaster's kind of starting to master his own emotions. Master of my fate, captain of my soul. Omega, if you know what that is, shout out. But like, Dizaster was in control, didn't go too long, and spit a test the water, yet still dope first round. Then Oxymoron goes. He said, you're an Arabic American. You salute a flag that's covered in the blood of your own people. When he got to that bar, the crowd was like, it was like they were convinced, yo, Oxy is real. Yo, he's here. Like, he won the first round. That was the vibe. Now, watching it, I was like, I wonder if people are going to be like, fuck that shit. He's Russian, so he's getting love. So I go online and everybody is like, yo, Oxy is crazy. So there you have it. Oxymoron got the first round, and his first round ender was, I turned Mount Rushmore into Mother Russia. Like, it was crazy. And I don't think anyone expected that after Dizaster's dope first round. But Oxy 1-0 after the first round. And something I got to give Oxy and Russia credit for is that Russians were heavy in the crowd. And they first of all, they were a good crowd. They didn't disrespect all the battlers before, and they reacted to Dizaster's dope shit, and they reacted to Oxy's dope shit. Now I saw Oxy grab the mic in the beginning, and he said something in Russian to them, and you could tell he was kind of like, "Yo, like, don't fuck up the battle. Show both MCs." He even said in English, like, "Show both MCs respect." So you could tell he was kind of like, "Yo, like, this is important. We don't want to look bad on camera as a unit. So let's get this in." So that's what the Russian crowd was on. Second round. Dizaster, man. He was like, "Yo, what happened in Chernobyl proves that you can't handle disasters well." If you don't know, look it up. Sensitive Russian bar. Chernobyl is with a CH, not a S. If you're looking it up and you're confused on Google. Fire. And then Dizaster's ender was like, "Yo, this is payback for what y'all did to Denzel on Training Day." Like, yo, you know, everybody that saw Training Day was thinking about that when they was in the building. Because from what I hear, I was at home watching it. But from what I hear, yo, that joke was being made. So everybody was already on the Denzel time, right? So when he said that shit, like, it resounded. Like, everybody went crazy when Dizaster said that. So Oxy goes in the second, and he spits what was probably the most crowd-pleasing line of the night. This man said, "Oh, you mad because I'm Joseph Stalin on you?" Who would have thought that Oxy even know that? You know what I mean? From what I know, this is his first. Well, the interview we did with him was his first English interview, and the battle obviously was his first English battle. So who would have thought he would have said something that was a big part of American street rap culture? Who would have thought that he would have even knew that? Not me. So it was crazy. In the third round, I gave Dizaster the second round, by the way. Dizaster, I gave him the second round. Some people gave it to Oxy because of the Joseph Stalin on you shit, took it over the top, but I think Dizaster's second round was hard. And then the third round, Dizaster had some shit like, "Yo, you wanna know what rhymes with Russian rapper? Doesn't matter." Crazy. And then Oxy went on to really break down like how he's Jewish and Russian. He's a Russian Jew, and Dizaster's Arabic American. And like, do you understand the type of terrible things that could happen if we met up on different terms? And like, just the way he broke it down, the things that he said. I'm sorry, I know the video's getting dark. Let me lighten it up. But the way he broke it down, the things he said, it was like he wrapped the battle in a pretty bow. And there was even a meme going around where it said like, "Yo, the first time Russia and America met up," and it was like Trump. You know what I'm saying? And the second time it had like Oxy and Dizaster. And, you know, it was like an X over Trump and a check on Oxy and Dizaster. I felt like the way, like, Oxy didn't try to, like, "Yo, fuck America, I'm gonna kill it." He basically made it as to where, like, people will respect the battle, and they'll be talking about how big of a look it was for battle rap and just for society in general, as opposed to being like, "Yo, the Russian dude killed the American dude." Like, Oxy changed the narrative with his third, and it was very smart. He did that, and because he did that, a lot of people, including myself, gave him the third round. The way he ended it was dope. So I got Oxy 2-1 over Diz, and that's no slight to Diz because Diz was dope. But they were rapping in like 4 different languages in the third round. You know what I mean? Which was impressive just to watch. And yeah, man, the battle. This is other leagues have to take notes, because when you do things like this and you transcend the barrier of just battle rap and you turn it into like a social or just like an international showcase, these are the things that make our culture bigger. So I'm very appreciative that they took the time to go ahead and book that battle. And it was everything you could want it to be, and it probably even exceeded expectations. But like I said, I told Nestle, That's what he was trying to tell me. Dizaster's gonna smoke him. I told him. Yo, he went to Oxford, son. You know what I mean? That's like saying you went to Harvard. So you talking about somebody that went to Oxford, and you know they speak English fluently. That's different than saying, oh, my man from Germany knows English. Like, no, son, he went to Oxford. You know what I mean? You know he's gonna prepare right. You know what I mean? And you know that he's more fluent in English than, say, someone like Nils Skills or something like that, right? So where Nils raps a little slower because you could tell he's thinking because it's his second or third language. I think it's his third language. Even though it's also Oxy's third language, he was a little more faster and snappier, and he was touching on certain things and knew certain slang that a lot of people who have that as a second or third language don't know at all. So his shit was just potent. It was dope, and both of them connected with each other's crowd perfectly. So salute, World Dom, great battle. I'm out. Battler of the night, you gotta give it to Oxymoron. Maybe A-Ward. It's either A-Ward or Oxymoron. But maybe edge to Oxymoron for what he was able to do in a different crowd that wasn't his own. And battle of the night. Same. It's either the Oxymoron versus Dizaster or A-Word and Peanut. You choose. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. I'm out. Salute.